Hello everyone, and welcome to Rotten Pumpkin Haunts. My name is Caleb, and today we're going to be talking about HalloweenCostumes.com Wave 1 animatronics. So Halloween Costumes has been teasing that they're going to be releasing 75 animatronics.
We are going to be launching over 70 plus animatronics this year in 2025.
So yesterday, they released Wave 1 of their animatronics, and a lot of them are props we have seen before, but some of them are some new concepts. And some of them are new concepts created by the one and only Brick Thunder. Now I will admit, some of the ones that he's made so far, pretty decent. Actually like him a lot better than that Kane the Clown. I wasn't a big fan of him. So today we're gonna go through each prop and I'm just gonna give my quick opinions on it, and I'd like to hear your guys' opinions in the comments. First up is the Graveyard Caretaker. Again, this was one that was leaked by Morris Costumes. So we have seen him before, but he hasn't been out in the public yet. This is a really unique animatronic. It gives off Morris Costumes vibes, you know? You can just kind of tell that's where it's from if you know anything about animatronics. But nonetheless, he's still a really cool character. The price is a little steep, but honestly, I think it's decent for this guy. He seems to be very large, you know, like width and height, you know, all that combined, it's going to be a huge prop. And honestly, this kind of prop would do really well in my haunt, since I do a cemetery theme each year. Next up is Hops, the dismembered zombie. It's also another leaked Morris Costumes animatronic. Very unique. I'm sure Haunt Former would love this animatronic. It's so much better than just a basic zombie reaching out to you or just moving around, you know? This one actually has, you know, body parts missing and really cool arm spinning motor. I never thought I'd say that. So they did a really good job with this prop, and I really like it. Another one that would do really well in my haunt. Next up is Salivation by Brick Thunder. I'm not really sure how this stuff works, where he designs these characters, they get into production, and Halloween Costumes or whoever will sell them. I'm not really sure how that works, but obviously he's in the business now, and he knows what he's doing, and I think he's doing really well with it. I really like the concept of the tongue moving around. I like how tall he is, just everything. He's very dark and menacing, and a very unique concept, and I love to see the haunter community actually getting to put their ideas into motion. Next up is the Red Dragon Head, and this is very cool to see. This is something we've obviously seen in the professional lineups, but not something that we've seen in a retail standpoint. This is like those professional props and puppetry that they use in like theme parks and professional haunted houses, and they scaled it down to a retail prop that can be used in a home haunted house. Very cool. So again, this isn't a new idea, but to see it in retail is really cool. It's very cool to see them taking professional haunt ideas and putting it into retail and seeing if that works. Next up is the Floating Phantom, and I'll be honest, I didn't see many clips of him. However, from what I have seen, it's still a decent prop. He seems to have some unique animation in the way that he moves around like a ghost kind of thing, like a phantom. And he has a really nice lantern. It's okay. It's not bad, but it's not something that is like a wow factor because it just kind of blends in with every other ghost and phantom prop. Okay, next up is the 12-foot lighted zombie, and this looks to be a lot like, I think it's Sunstar when they try to make their 12-foot props. This looks a lot like the 12-foot mummy from At Home, and so like it's nothing that we haven't seen. This is actually one of those where I'd say it's not that cool or good, and this is something that was discussed by Ryan the other night on his live stream, where it's like, yeah, they are gonna release like 75 animatronics, but are all of them going to be that good? Are some of them going to be Sunstar props that nobody cares about? And I think this is one of those cases where it's just a giant Sunstar prop. Next we have the Underworld Demon. Again, this was another Morris Costumes leak. I actually really enjoy Underworld Clown. He's one of my favorite clowns. Seeing an Underworld Demon instead of a clown, it kind of makes more sense. because the clown, they were trying to make it like this clown demon, but now we actually have a legit demon. They seem to still have trouble with his movement. Like in this version, he isn't really moving around like the clown was, and even the clown would have trouble. So the quality of this prop seems to be really low. The concept and the design of him is really cool. Next up is this triple stack clown. I don't really know the name of it, but I also don't really care about it. I also looked up the prices of these, and these guys were not cheap. It's like $300. And I'm like, after what we just saw at Home Depot for like $100 maybe? Definitely not worth it. Alright, next up is the Nun, and I feel like we've seen her before. She's one of their licensed props for this year, and not as good as Spirit stuff, I'll say that. I mean, it's still creepy looking, and it can be creepy, but I don't care for this prop at all, really. Next up is the Annabelle doll. Same thing. This just feels like one of those filler props that they got so that way they can say they have 75 animatronics. Next up is this Chucky animatronic. And again, after what we've seen from Home Depot and from some recent leaks, we will most likely be getting Chucky once again at Home Depot. So I don't really see a need for this prop at all. This feels like a Party City design in a way. And the reason why I say that is because the animation and the design, it's not unique, it's not cool. It's just a really cheap looking animatronic that no one cares about. Now for some good animatronics, Ripsaw, very cool. This is a techie design animatronic, and it's this giant, I don't know, butcher guy with a giant saw in his hand. It's huge, and he has like a mask on similar to the Exterminator. I think it's really cool. Now, it's not the most unique thing we've ever seen, but it's a nice new design of a new character. Next up is Unhappily Ever After. It's cool, not as good as some of the other Bride animatronics I've seen, but it's still decent, and I do like the animation because it does look kind of unique. The UV light is also really cool as well to see. It's not just some LED light that they used on it, like it's an actual black light. Not a bad prop, but just one I don't really care for. It kind of seems like one of those props that you'd see at Lowe's. Next up is the Techie Toys Zombie, which we saw from Big Lots last year. And these are their returning animatronics from their lineup. And so it is cool to see them getting Big Lots and maybe Party City props in their lineup, since they're not going to be available anymore. So again, it is cool to have access to these props still, but it's just props that I don't really care for, but still, they're decent. Next up, we got some giant inflatables. We have the 33-foot tall Stay Puft inflatable and a 50-foot tall Stay Puft inflatable. I think it's really cool to see what would be professional props in the retail market. So those were my opinions and views on the Wave 1 animatronics from HalloweenCostumes.com. Pretty cool, pretty cool. I am excited to see the rest of the lineup for this year, and I think they're getting there. And I just say keep it up. I can't wait to see what comes next.